Why do 99% of golfers struggle to strike their irons, especially the long irons? Well, there's so many reasons that we could dive into with this video, but I'm going to be showing you one in particular I've noticed from beginners, from intermediate, from regular playing golfers, all the way up to some professionals who have the tendency of doing this action as well. It's one simple action, it's one simple phrase that we think about in our minds that encourages us to do something in our swing that we don't even realize it's causing, and that is the key to why 99% of golfers out there in the world struggle to strike their irons. So let's dive into the video to find out what this is and what we can do to stop this from happening and help you strike your irons miles better, hitting them straighter and much further out on the golf course. So to strike the ball well with an iron, we want to see the ball then turf interaction afterwards, with the low point, where the lowest point where the club is, down through the impact zone after the golf ball, as opposed to seeing it behind the golf ball. However, we don't want to see ball and turf interaction being very steep, reducing that loft that we present on the club too much and see them go too low. But then we don't want the opposite effect, do we? We don't want that one where we get the low point before the golf ball, increase the loft and see it go too high, no distance, poor striking, and it goes all over the place. So what I'm about to tell you now is the reason why 99% of golfers, like I mentioned before, really struggle to strike their irons. And it's one phrase in particular, and I'm about to reveal that right now, and that is they're trying to hit the golf ball. This sounds crazy. I know it's daft, because we are trying to hit the golf ball. We're trying to hit the golf ball so that we can get it up in the air, strike it pure, see more distance, more accuracy, better golf shots, getting them on the green for those birdie putts or par putts, whatever it may be. However, when we start to think, especially off the deck, I need to hit that golf ball well, then it encourages us to do something in our swing that we don't realise we're doing. So when we get into the top of our swing here, the tendency for us, when we start to think I need to hit the golf ball, is what? Well, you're too focused on actually making contact with the golf ball. You forget to actually swing the club naturally, in a natural way that's going to help you deliver the club to the ball with a centre strike and see them go the ideal and preferred height for the club being used and seeing that much better distance. So in simple terms, when we get to the top of our swings and we're thinking I need to hit this golf ball because it's off the ground as opposed to being on a tee, we do this action here because we think, hang on a sec, I'm trying to hit that golf ball, I'm trying to make sure I get that contact, that ball then turf interaction afterwards. And yes, a lot of golfers talk about this and I totally agree with it. We need to see that ball being hit first and then a divot after the golf ball, seeing that turf interaction. However, if we're so focused on this, then it becomes an even worse of a problem to have in your golf swing, because in your mind you're thinking, right, I need to hit this golf ball, I need to make sure I make contact, and it does so many things to the golf swing. You could see there from that video I've just done there on this camera that there's so many tendencies to this. We get to the top of the swing, we drop our height, we change our spine angle, we go over the plane, causing that steeper angle of attack into the golf ball, reducing that loft far too much. And if we make contact with the golf ball, well, good luck with making a centre strike from that point and seeing a lot of distance. It's only going to go so far because the peak height trajectory for that iron isn't going to be optimized. It's going to be too low. So even if you get that strike once in a while, you can imagine it. It's a lot harder to strike a golf ball this way as opposed to actually seeing more of an in-to-in swing path, shallower angle of attack to help you actually get more height, more distance and more accuracy. So as I mentioned, they get to the top and they try and hit the golf ball going this way and get very steep into the golf ball just to make sure they make contact with the golf ball. Very similar to chipping. In fact, if you'd like me to do a chipping video on this topic, make sure you comment down below. So the question is, how do we stop this? We've started to understand that we have generated this feel in our golf swings to do this action rather than delivering the club on a more natural plane. So what is the key to actually changing this? What is the key to changing what 99% of golfers do, which is the reason why they struggle to strike their irons pure? Well, it is so simple. Think about it this way. If we're doing this action on the downswing, what is happening to my body? Let me just show you from this angle just to see what you think. I'm just going to move the ball there so you can see it. Apologies about the projector there if it's shining on me from this camera angle, but I'm just going to swing up to the top and I do this steeper angle. What's that causing my body to do? Where is my swing center moving? It's shifting ahead of the golf ball. A lot of golfers out there, to strike their irons, they have too much what we call lateral motion in their golf swing, which is basically a shifting side to side in their golf swing. You'll see a lot of golfers shift onto the back foot on the backswing and then all the way through onto the lead side too much on the downswing. And this is one of the root causes to this steeper angle of attack and making sure we hit the ball then the turf. So it's changing that phrase, trying to change the phrase to allow us to trust our swing and know that if we do this correct, we're going to deliver the club to the ball with a centre strike and see that appropriate turf interaction. So what I want you to feel, as opposed to feeling this lateral shift either side, especially on the downswing, I want you to encourage more rotation, what we call rotary motion in the golf swing. So if you leave the club for a second, you put your hands on your hips like this, set up into your posture like so, and you start turning this way, as opposed to seeing this lateral shift either side and moving your hips. You want to feel the lead hip is going more towards the ball and the right hip's going away from the ball. You can see better from this camera angle now when I do that. I go lead hip to ball, trail hip away from ball, then the trail hip wants to come towards the ball, but the lead hip goes away. You've got your hands on your hips and you can start to feel the center of your pressure now shifting from the trail side as you make your way up into the top of the swing, all the way through to the lead side and the downswing, but I'm not shifting this way. I'm not laterally shifting in my golf swing to try and make contact with the golf ball this way. So how does that look when we actually hit a golf ball? So as opposed to seeing this lateral shift and then really encouraging this action to take place, we're doing the opposite. We're standing over the golf ball. We want to stay nice and relaxed, especially with our arms. We don't want to be very tense doing this because that can also encourage that out to win steeper angle of attack, because that's what we're trying to get rid of here. We want to encourage more rotary motion. You can see that my right hip shifting behind me towards the wall as my lead hip is shifting more towards the ball like this here. So you can see now I'm in a much better, preferred pro-like backswing position. You can see there I've transferred my pressure onto the trail side, using the ground reaction forces to my advantage much better, but also I'm encouraging more weight to then be transferred into the downswing. And when we transfer this, we're not trying to think, right, I need to do this action now. We're encouraging that left hip to fire out the way. And I've spoken about this in a lot of my videos, but not in this specific way. You want to be encouraging this and feeling this just from the rotary motion from the backswing and simply just twisting round and doing the opposite on the downswing. And you can see there, just from me doing that swing from this angle here, and all I'm feeling here, my arms are staying relaxed, they're just following the body, is when I turn back from this position now, if I just feel that rotation as opposed to lateral shift, look at where the club's being delivered there, on a much more preferred plane. So that's going to help shallow that angle of attack slightly more for you, keeping those hands ahead of the club face at impact and making it more easy to strike that golf ball out the center. So dead simple. We want to stop thinking about trying to actually hit the golf ball when all we need to think, okay, I'm trying to get this ball up in the air. If we're trying to get the ball up in the air, we need to do what? Rotate back and rotate through. So it's just back and through like so. And that was my first shot hit today, by the way. So, and look at that. Very nice little draw, which is what I like to play with out on the golf course. If you're struggling with this tip, however, I'd recommend taking the club and putting it across the shoulders and doing this simple lead hip to ball, lead hip away from ball. That's what I like to think out on the golf course. I'm twisting my lead hip towards the ball, adding more pressure on the trail side. Lead hip goes away from the golf ball, and then you can see there I'm transferring my weight much better. The angle of approach is better, and also that dynamic loft. So that's going to encourage that center strike that you've been looking for so long in your golf game. Once you've given this a try, feel free to drop a comment down below to let me know how you get on with this. I can guarantee this will improve your ball striking, no matter your age, no matter ability, and you will see much better results out on the golf course. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.